We didn't see that coming. Welcome to the Buffalo No-Huddle, here with the Batavia Daily News and Livingston County News. I'm Jimi Jamm from the CJ Country Morning Show, and along with Daily News Media Director Marc Tillery, we're here with you to talk about what happened last week and what's going to be happening this upcoming week. But Buffalo and Pittsburgh, the air got let out of the balloon. All the hype, all the excitement, all the things people were thinking and feeling going into the season, and there's enough blame to go around, but for me, it starts and ends with the offensive line.
Right.
You got to protect Josh. The yards per completion was not where it needed to be. Diggs had 9 catches and yet could not, get substantial yardage. They did a bad job in the red zone. They did a bad job converting on downs. And Pittsburgh, let's not take anything away from Pittsburgh. They game planned this game perfectly. T.J. Watt was all over the field, and that's the one thing above all. But there's a lot of things. There was a perfect storm that happened in this ball game with everything. The breakdown special teams of the punt. I mean, you take away that block punt, we're talking about a 16-16 tie in the fourth quarter. So there are things there that aren't irretrievably broken, but everything conspired to make this a loss against a good team.
Right.
I mean,
Pittsburgh, take nothing away from Pittsburgh.
They're a playoff
Tomlin
team.
is that coach. He's always been that coach since he came in there. And I love how you said special teams, because we're going full circle with special teams. Our game ended terribly because of a special teams play, and our game started amazingly because of a special teams play. And we're watching Isaiah McKenzie come down the field, 75 yards. We're gonna punch it in. Right. We're gonna kick Pittsburgh in the teeth today.
And only came away with 3.
And 3. Once we settled for 3, I knew it was not gonna be a long day at that point, but I knew it was something wasn't right with the offense.
Well, it's they didn't get a lot of play in the preseason. They looked like they were ready to go, but then again, they were playing Green Bay's JV squad in the preseason. The one time Josh was out there, for his couple drives. So, look, the defense. If you tell them the rest of the season you're only going to allow 16 points a game, most defenses in this league will take that, because your offense, you better do better than that. And Sean McDermott said it this week. Yards don't mean anything. Points do. They had 400 yards in total offense and still only generated the 16 points. 3 field goals from Tyler Bass and the lone touchdown to Gabe Davis. And that's it. And they need to do better.
The elephant in the room here is we definitely can't best the Raiders in penalties.
Right.
I mean, you talk about the holding calls that we got. I don't know how many were just ridiculous calls, but we got a lot of holding calls, and at least 50% of those or more were because we were inexperienced out there. We were just...
If the pass rush is heavy, that's usually a sign. Dawkins had 3 holding penalties there, and it was a sign that they could not... Pittsburgh schemed this game perfectly. Let's not take anything away from Pittsburgh, because they're a playoff team, and look what happened around the league. Green Bay laid an egg. The Ravens laid an egg. A lot of contenders did lay an egg this weekend, so you can't look at this thing and say, okay, major problem. You find things out over a few weeks' time. They're going to go into Miami. They're playing a team now. They got a chance to win and take over sole possession in the AFC East if they win. So they got to keep that in proper perspective. Now, to talk more about what happened on Sunday, Alex Brasky, Batavia Daily News sports writer.
Coming off of a Week 1 loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Buffalo Bills head south to Miami, where they'll take on the Miami Dolphins in Week 2 on Sunday at Hard Rock Stadium. Josh Allen and the Bills' offense a bit rusty in Week 1, as they'll be looking to rebound against the Dolphins this Sunday afternoon. The Bills' defense, an up-and-down performance against the Steelers, had a good first half, faltered down the stretch, allowed the Steelers to come back and seize that victory. Special teams also a question mark for the Bills, as they allowed the block punt, which really turned the tide in that game and set the Steelers up for a comeback win. But hitting on Allen a little bit more, he looked a bit uncomfortable in that game against the Steelers, whether it was the reintroduction of the crowd, whether it was the fierce Steelers pass rush, which gave the Bills' offensive line fits throughout the game. It just looked like Allen was off a little bit, and he really needs to regain his last year's form this week against the Dolphins. One minor positive when it came to the Bills' offense, I thought Devin Singletary looked good in flashes, and also Emmanuel Sanders, his first season as a Bill, showed he's already gained great rapport with Josh Allen here in the early going. Even Dawson Knox made a few appearances, as he had a couple of big catches as he looks to take on a new role as really the number 1 tight end and the only tight end that's really going to contribute for the Bills this season. On the defensive end, I thought the Bills, like I said, an up-and-down effort. That first half came through with a bunch of big stops and a few in the second half when they were given short fields and came through with stops for field goals. But 16 points in that second half, allowing Ben Roethlisberger to drive right down the field a number of times. Just not good enough from the Bills' defense down the stretch. And I think overall the Bills just really need to rebound with a better effort this week against Miami. Speaking of the Dolphins, they're coming off a big win over the Patriots in Week 1, the only AFC East team to pull off a victory in Week 1, so they sit atop the division. If they're able to come away with another win this week, they could really put a stranglehold on things in the early going.
All right, thanks, Alex. And now for our first player awards of the season. And we've got the ones you would normally see on these type of shows, but ones you don't normally see on these type of shows. First of all, game MVP, I'm going to give it to Gabriel Davis. He got the passing game going good enough to get that touchdown. Great catch at the back of the end zone.
Great catch.
And he is a guy that just, when you got people like Diggs, you got people like Beasley and Emmanuel Sanders. A name like Gabe Davis gets lost in the shuffle, but let's not forget his amazing rookie campaign.
Right.
This guy is going to factor in at times during the season and be a godsend when injuries happen. And he is my MVP for the game. I do want to give out two honorable mentions. Dawson Knox. He's a guy who needs to take a step forward this season. He had 4 catches, and he made some great catches.
He's a beast out there.
If he can avoid the drops, this is a great start for him with what he did.
Right.
And Ed Oliver woke up. The beast woke up on defense. The Bills' defense in general played great, but Oliver was disruptive. It was great. Who's your pick?
You know what? I want to say Bess. Bess kept us in the game the entire time.
Okay.
I mean, obviously we had our touchdown from Davis and Allen. That was great. I wanted to say going into this it was going to be Josh Allen. Obviously it wasn't. So I'm going to go full team for the first time, or full half team. I want to give it to the defense for holding up, stopping a rookie sensation who's projected to be a rookie sensation, Najee Harris. They shut him down. They shut down a back that was really projected to do some big things during this game. So I'm going to give it to the defense. They worked their butts off the first half, and if the offense had been producing, we see a different outcome.
It would have been a moot point in the second half that they gave up some points there. Our Better Luck Next Time award, because we don't like to say least valuable player, but we do like to say maybe next time. I'm going to go with the offensive line as a whole. There's enough blame to go around. But John Feliciano was a problem especially, and obviously Deion Dawkins holding penalties. So, the offensive line for me.
Look, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm going to put a disclaimer out there. I am a Buffalo Bills fan, but I have to call it as I'm going to call it, and I hope this is the only time I call it this season. Throws to the outside that were completely off. You're overthrowing balls. I get it. There's a lot of pressure.
Are you calling out 17?
17 did not play like QB1 that day. He didn't. I watched the game from start to finish. Trust me, there was tears in my eyes at points, man. But I can't say that he threw his best balls that game.
He did have his best game, but I wouldn't. To me, I wouldn't throw out the baby with the bathwater, so to speak. I mean, he threw for 270 yards, threw for a touchdown. He had the one fumble, but it was not intercepted. Now for the Bro Seriously Award. Bro, seriously, the award where you're just baffled. It might be something in the game. It might be something we saw at the game. It might be whatever. My Bro Seriously award, Dable's 4th down and 1 call, the backward pass. Simple physics says the closest distance between 2 points is a straight line. What are you doing? Sometimes Brian Dable is too cute for his own good.
Yeah.
He tries to be too cute and too cool, and I think it really bit them when they needed momentum because that was the start of the wheels falling off.
Absolutely. I'm all about individualism and us doing our thing, but you're absolutely right. The Serious Bro Award is definitely 4th and 1. You called it on 4th and 1 when you should have punted, could have kept us in the game. Instead, that's where it led us.
Yeah. So let's put that one behind us because we really need to. We still get to play 16 more games. Thank you, 17-game season. But let's talk about the Bills and Miami. The last 5 games, Buffalo has had Miami's number in grand fashion. They won the last 5 against them. And Allen has balled out in those games. He's been fantastic. Miami is not your father's Dolphins anymore. They're a team that's improving under Brian Flores. They picked up their first win of the season. They currently lead the AFC East with that win over New England. But you have to try to value and measure what that win over New England meant. New England's another team that we got to watch out for this season. Statistically, though, not a great game for Tua and not a ton of offense, but they did the little things they needed to do to win in the New England game. I mean, how do you see this game matching up.
Tua is one of those quarterbacks that he's growing. You could tell he's going to be that franchise quarterback for years to come. What I'm worried about is he comes out and has one of those breakout games against us. He's definitely one of those players that can just explode out of nowhere.
You're convinced though he's going to be around.
I'm convinced Tua's going to be around.
Okay.
He's got that work ethic. He's got that it factor for the NFL that I feel Miami's going to build that team around him, and he could give us fits on Sunday for sure.
I don't know. I'm not so sure. At times I think so, and sometimes I don't think that Tua's got everything they need. You know what I mean? But Miami's got pieces around him.
Yeah.
You know, they've got Waddle, that new rookie wide receiver who just got a first touchdown catch last week. They've got, against New England, it's hard to say because, like I said, until we get 3-4 games out into this process, we won't know how these teams truly are and who they are. I'm of the opinion still that Buffalo can create fits and create problems. And if that defense plays like they did against Pittsburgh, I think Pittsburgh's a little further along offensively as a team than Miami is. So that, to me, says alone a good day for Buffalo potentially. Where the change has to happen is with the offense. Can they shake this off? And here's the key point in mind that I want to bring up. The Bills built this thing over the last 3 years, and you learn how to win, and then you learn how to deal with adversity. Now they have to learn about having the target on their back. Now they are the hunted one. And if they don't respond well to it, this is what happens. You lose to Pittsburgh last week, and now they have to reestablish themselves and handle their business. They need to be 4-2 by the bye because the rest of the schedule will get easier. But right now they've got some tougher opponents, and they got some games they got to watch out for coming up.
Their opponents smell blood, and the media smells blood.
Absolutely.
When you go in there projected to win the Super Bowl, got all these huge media guys behind them saying Buffalo's going to win it, and then we lay an egg the first game. I'm not seeing anything. There's
the
a lot of
pitchforks
factors.
come out as soon as you stumble. That's their first opportunity. Plus, they're looking for the clicks, doing the views.
There's a lot of fickle fans. There's a lot of naysayers.
Oh man!
And we all get mad after the game. But then you see what Josh says. There's 16 more games to play.
Are you saying Bills Mafia overreacts? Maybe just a little.
just a little. Sometimes the wheels of the wagon just stop in the middle of the road, but they get going right after the game. You just got to give. You build these expectations. You go into the season. You expect us to absolutely win this first game. Like I said on the show last week, quote me. Go back when we're 16 weeks in. Go back and I was all about Big Ben aging. It's not about that. People go out there, players go out there to play, and they had an absolute great game against Buffalo, with the factors being the offensive line. But teams work on things during the season. I remember years where we destroyed New England on the opener, and then they killed us the rest of the season, and then they went on to win the Super Bowl.
It's an ebb and flow. We're really not going to get a feel for this team for a few more weeks, but I think Buffalo can go in and handle their business, and if they do, it's full steam ahead. I think they played a great opponent the first game, and we can't let that cloud what this team is. This team didn't stop being great or stop being a good team. All right, it's on to our predictions, and it's not just our picks. Let's go first to Daily News sports writer Alex Brasky. Alex, what do you think is going to happen on Sunday against Miami?
A key for the Bills this week, make Tua Tagovailoa, the Dolphins quarterback, throw deep. That's where he's uncomfortable. He likes getting rid of it quick, those short passes, getting those short chunks, and really matriculating down the field, as one great announcer once said. But you really have to make him throw deep, take him out of his comfort zone, and I think opportunities can be had against this Dolphins offense. But it really comes down to the Bills. They have to put forth a better effort than they did last week, and it starts with Josh Allen and that Bills passing game. A prediction for this week? Give me the Bills to bounce back. I predicted a 41-21 win last week. I can't predict the Bills to score that many points after a lackluster performance on offense this past week, but still, give me the Bills to win. I'll take them by a 28-24 score.
All right, thanks, Alex. Coming up in our on-the-spot feature is none other than former Miami Dolphins wide receiver Davone Bess to give his take on what it's going to take for the Bills to beat the Dolphins this Sunday.
What's going on, guys? This is former NFL wide receiver Davone Bess, and I'm here today with my man Till and my man Jimmy, man. I want to thank you guys for having me on. I'm here to give you my predictions of this weekend's showdown between the Miami Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills. But with that being said, I'm just going to say, man, it's going to be a really, really good game. Defensively for Buffalo, they're really good. So I think if they can put pressure on Tua, get him rattled a little bit, they may can do something. Although Buffalo's offensive line is a little, they're a little shaky right now. But at the same time, the Miami Dolphins, their defense is pretty good. They got one of the best corners in the league, in X. He's doing his thing, and he got some dogs up front. And it should be a really good matchup, man. But I want to thank you guys for having me. And again, my name is Davone Bess, and I'm logging off. I want to say thank you to Till and Jimmy again. And you guys have a great weekend, man. Talk soon. Bye.
All right, Davone, thank you. And now it's time for our picks. All right, Mark, you go ahead and tell us what's going to happen. Give us a score.
Look, I still think Buffalo is the team to beat. It was a tough weekend, a tough first weekend. What can you do? I think Allen's going to come out on fire. He's going to hear what I said on this show. And this man's going to put up, my boy's going to put up 31 points this week. All in the air.
All right.
31 points. He's going to shut him down. I don't know if the running game's there quite yet, but we're going to show him with the pass game what we can do and what Buffalo's made of. It's just the offensive line's got to come to play.
All right, now, Miami's got an opportunistic defense, and if they come to play, I'm going to say it's going to be a little closer than that. I'm going to say 31-20. The Bills are going to still be working out the kinks and cobwebs out of what they should have done in the preseason, or we hoped would have been done in the preseason. I'm picking a closer game, but I'm still picking Buffalo to come up on top on this. I think the offense will wake up. I think Sean McDermott's great at bringing things back to the middle. You know what I mean? When things are not right, he's good at adjusting. Maybe not in-game adjustments, but for the next game adjustments, Buffalo's good at doing that. I'm going to say 31-20 the Bills. So that is going to do it for this week's edition of the Buffalo No-Huddle. We want your comments. We want your feedback. So please put it in the comments section below or contact us here at either the LCN or the Batavia Daily News. We want to hear what you think. If we get something really good, we'll put it on the air. If we don't know what we're talking about, tell us. Go ahead and tell us. I can take a beating. I do it every day.
I do want to make this announcement. Next week, we're going to announce the Batavia Daily News' biggest fan. So the biggest fan is going to join us on the show this season. We don't know when, but we're going to announce who the biggest fan is and who they voted for.
I thought I was the biggest fan.
I guess people that work with us can't be part of it.
All right, fine. All right, for the Buffalo No-Huddle, I'm Jimi Jamm from CJ Country. He's Marc Tillery, and we will see you next week.